Hey guys, I'm just gonna share with you that, and I'm not even gonna reach for blame. A part of me wanted to, like, just, oh, it's the Libra in me or whatever, but I don't know. It's just one of my things, and it doesn't really matter what it is or where it comes from, but I find myself sometimes with some of these videos that I'd like to share with you guys, like, to be a bit of a perfectionist, which goes against everything I said initially. Like, when I first started this channel, you know, I wanted to keep it raw and real and just let it flow naturally. Like, whatever is, whatever case Sarah, right? So I've been good at that, you know, like, I don't really edit anything. I think I did edit the one video, like, just to kind of blend it all together because I ran out of space, or it kept kicking out on me. But regardless, you know, and I've actually been looking into, like, some of the great tools we have out there, right? Because I would like to up my views and, you know, like, grow this channel for, you know, positive reasons, more or less. You know, like, we all have something to share, right? We all have different gifts and talents and whatnot that, you know, we shouldn't keep to ourselves. And it's unfortunate, like, what the conditioning in societies and in the world through time has been, you know. And it's like, I got to keep reminding myself we've come so far, and, you know, we've grown in so many ways. Like, people are really starting to wake up and realize what things are actually about, and we're in the process right now of co-creating new earth and, like, ascending this whole planet, you know. And it's really powerful, and it's some positive times, you know. And it's just like, the other night I made this video, and I want to apologize to my mom and dad because I said I'd send you guys a link, and I haven't done it yet. But I did record this video, and I was looking at it, and I was just like, oh, I was picking it all apart, you know, like, I could do better. And it's like, here's the question I think a lot of us need to ask ourselves. It's like, yeah, we can always do better, you know, but what if in doing better is just the matter of accepting something for what it is, and that in itself is doing better, you know, just allowing something to be what it is, the ideal state of perfection. And my redefining perfection, you know. Perfection is acceptance and that allowance of just letting things be purely what they are when they are. But anyways, the video that I made the other day and that I'm making right now, and I'm just gonna, like, let it be, is I was just so super excited about hearing about this convoy and the truckers and all the people, all the support that they were getting in movement towards Ottawa, and just saying, you know, enough is enough. And I like it too because my mom sent me these facts from a trucker, and he was saying, you know, it's not that we're anti-vaxxers, okay? It's that we are for the rights of people to choose. That there is a lot of those truckers and a lot of those people there that are part of this convoy that are fully vaccinated. And that's not what the issue is. The issue is, you know, they're taking a stand and making a movement towards free choice. And this new channel that I found recently, it's called Inspired. Highly recommend it. Check it out. That's just their name, Inspired. I think it's all capitals. But I saw their video, and that was the first I heard of this convoy and this movement towards that. And it was just like, it made me so happy. Like, you know, because I've always been one of those people that is like, when it comes to justice and freedom and human rights, you know, it's, to me, it's all about our free will. And just, there was something that John said on the channel, I believe his name's John and Christine Nolan of the Inspired channel. Thank you guys. If you see this video, I'm totally gonna promote your guys' stuff, because I absolutely love finding like fellow, you know, the way he put it, it's a peaceful demonstration of non-conformance. And you know, most people are like that in what we want. Like, that's a whole topic in itself, like, to get into, you know, violence and all that stuff. You know, like, the majority of any form of life does not want that. You know, we all want to be able to exist and to be in a state of peace, but to remain in a state of freedom, you know. And it's like, that's what New Earth is all about, is just, it's about living freely, but living with life and our freedom to be. And I think, like, that's a lot of what this movement, this convoy is all about, is just reinforcing that, you know, like reinforcing that there is no mandates kind of thing. And like, I'm a big, I don't know, I guess I could be like a linguistic in a sense. Like, I'm a writer by nature. I love it. It's something I've always done and what I'm passionate about. But in my state of like wanting everything to be perfect, I still haven't shared nearly as much as I have to with people. But here's my steps towards just like remembering what it's all about. And yeah, so I'm gonna link a few different videos in the description box below of some videos that I've come across recently, including the one from Inspired, that I just wanted to like share with you guys. And just to reinforce that message, you know, that like, you know, I have no problem with people who are getting the vaccine. If that's what you feel is right for you, I fully support what is right for you. You know, I'm religiously a promoter of people having their right to choose. Okay? It's crazy, you know, like, I've had some conversations with family and stuff and friends who probably never would have thought they'd see the day that I'd be like promoting Jesus and like talking about things in like the biblical reference, because you know, I've been growing so much in my own spirituality to actually begin to recognize where things have kind of gone wrong, and how a lot of things boil back down to miscommunication, to misunderstanding. And you know, I know there's still a lot for me to learn. I mean, I've even said in like some discussions, very passionate discussions that I've gotten into with some friends and stuff, you know, it's like, if we look at the bigger picture and we think about it, you know, it's even like government. Like, there's a lot of people in the government that they're just like you and me. You know, it's, they want what's best for everyone. And it's a matter of like recognizing this. And, you know, like this said to be mandates and whatnot, it's recognizing a lot of these things come from a state of fear. And there's even like beyond that, you know, like I do pick up on that energy where there is this force and it's like this struggle for power. and dominancy. But another really valid point that John brings up in the inspired video is how we need to remember as the people that all government bodies obtain their power and get their power from the people. And he says it basically the way I've been saying it, like the government is like our employees, like they provide a service to the people, and it's through the people that they obtain their power. So if you are in government and you're seeing this, or you're beginning to wake up and realize and recognize like what you got into that for in the first place, like it's not a matter of being dominating over people. It's a matter of recognizing that you are taking like a role of such intense responsibility. And it's a matter of staying true to your word and to being of service to the people, to representing the people. And it's, more often than not, it's the little guys that government should be being that voice for. And so it's in taking the time, to recognize where power actually comes from. It all boils down to an individual basis. And like true power is, and I can bring the whole Jesus thing into it, it's like biblically, like they've created this entire religion around this man who basically stood for people's right to believe in whatever they chose to believe and to be a part of the whole without being shunned or cast out because there was the differences there. Like when you look at the whole of humanity itself, okay, what I've come to reference is and like recognize, it all started with looking at like the human brain and how we only utilize, like it's said that we only use, maybe 10% of our brain. And so my thought waves like got down the channel I got going down this road was, maybe we only utilize that percentage of our brain because when we put the whole together and break it off into like the pie and the whole, it's because all of us that make up the whole utilize that another percentage and another percentage and another percentage, and then together when we come together it creates the full 100% and then some or whatever. And even like this whole concept of like twin flames and whatnot and the whole soul, right? How like one soul was broken into two, and it often goes the masculine and the feminine. But when it comes to actual twin flames coming back together, there has to be an alignment, like a vibrational alignment of a wholeness. And even still, it's like recognizing how each is meant to complement each other. So where I might have weaknesses, my partner would have the strengths, and vice versa. Regardless, it's like, I know personally in my journey as a twin flame, like coming to realize how I have been and stood a lot more in my masculine energy through life. And how lately it's been really cool, like developing and starting to really truly embrace my feminine energy a lot more than I ever have, and just like finding like so much fun in it, and starting to heal things that I never really looked at the way I see them now. And that comes back to like a key message I was given by one of my guides when I was quite young through a dream. And that message is, like the only way to truly heal anything is through the way we see it. So perspective wise, like this stepping up of this convoy, and like I just love how this trucker said a lot of them are actually fully vaccinated, and that's not what it's about. They're standing They're taking a stand and making this movement for the rights of people and the ability to choose. And I love the way John put it, how like, you know, for people to say, well, if you do this, then you'll have your freedom back. It's like, no. Who are you to say you have any control or power over my freedom in the first place? That was not for you to take in the first place. And that's what we need to remember, is our freedom oftentimes, it's a state of mind, it's a state of being. And that's why, in order to help make the changes that we want to see and grow into this new earth that we're co-creating, we need to recognize that a lot of things are a state of mind. It's the power of our mind, it's the power that we perceive, and then to be the change that we want to see. You know, like, if we're going to preach something, we have to be in alignment. We have to be like, you know, practicing what we preach, so to speak. You know, and that's exactly what these truckers are doing in this convoy, and I love it. And then I saw like another thing the other day. Kid Rock actually announced that he's not going to, he was threatening to cancel his concerts if there was going to be any vaccine mandated stuff being enforced for his concerts. And it's like, fuck yeah, thank you, Kid Rock, man. I'm like so excited, so happy, you know, because, and then too, like us people who are, you know, not necessarily there with the convoy, we need to remember the power of ourselves, in that energetically it's what we're putting out. You know, like, I'm far from where they are right now, but energetically I am just like fueling their movement, because I am in full support of what they stand for. And so, yeah, I just, I wanted to do this video the other day. I did like it. Here it is again, but this one's going up ASAP. So I'm very appreciative of anybody who is standing for the free movement, you know. And then when it comes to people who've been struggling to make the choice, like, as to whether or not they should get the vaccine, what you need to do is look at both sides. Like, you got to look at the pros and the cons for yourself. And there's so much stuff. Like, I definitely do not condone any form of life, animal, human. Humans are technically animals. We're said to be more conscious, but I believe animals to be very conscious as well. Just more instinctual, you know, like, we're gifted with the thought process. Like, this part of our journey, you know, is development of compassion and recognition of the power of frequency and vibration and what we put out there, and how it is like a ripple effect, the butterfly effect. This is so cool. Looking into that the other day, like, the butterfly effect is said to come from like when the monarch butterflies will migrate across the ocean, and just the very like flutter of their wings can cause a hurricane in a different part of the ocean. And it's like, you look at everything that's been happening in the world recently, like a lot of things that were prophesized to happen in 2012. Okay, well, 2021, we're in 2022 now, which is like, we're coming into the harmonization of things. Like, this is a year of prosperity for many. This is like a prime year of like a lot of the things that we want to manifest. It's like a very big part of like the growth stint towards new earth, and so much stuff that like the whole corona, aka COVID-19 virus, you know, like, what that being put out, there's so many different angles as to what the intention is behind that. And that's a whole nother video in itself, that I'm gonna do. So definitely, like, there's been a couple of videos that I know, like, I don't know exactly what I said in the video, but it wasn't allowed to be put up. I wasn't swearing or anything. I think it was just like the enforcement of rights and stuff like that, because, you know, like, when we come into this life, there are certain things that are in place to protect our journey here. It's an opportunity to really decide, like, what do you stand for as a soul, or like whatever piece of soul that you have, like what, what is it that makes up your virtues, your beliefs, your, like what you're willing to die for, right? And that's one thing I love about Jesus, like what he actually stood for was, it's like the sheer metaphor, but it was so literal in the story behind him, was that, you know regardless of anything, don't ever be afraid to die for your truth. Don't let anybody or anything have you back down from what you know to be right in your heart, in your soul, in your being. And that it's, you know, it's practicing that religiously. It doesn't matter like what religion you're from, what you know to be true or what you believe to be true. Um, I honestly think, we need to be encouraging each other and our children to believe in themselves and the power that we hold as individuals to co-create the life that we want for ourselves. And in doing that, like when we've come into that state of conscious being where we recognize the power that we hold and we understand the ripple effect, and we make a conscious effort to do things in a way that, we recognize how that's going to impact others. It's not just, that's where we come out of the state of being selfish and being selfless, and that the choices that we make for ourselves, we are in full recognition of how that may impact other people. And that, my friends, is, the ripple, the butterfly effect. And the monarchs, right? What are the monarchs? That's like royalty, right? And like when we as individuals step into our power of like representing ourselves and recognizing, the power we hold in our lives and carrying ourselves like kings, queens, empresses, emperors, and doing that from a state of wholeness, all for the good of each other, all for the rights and the freedom that we all have as individuals. It's like, I forget exactly how my buddy put this once, but he's like, you want to know the difference between an argument and a discussion? He's like, it's basically the level of mutual attraction and the level of sexual involvement or something like that. And it was like just absolutely hilarious. It was perfect, But that's the thing though, like an argument basically is a discussion, but a discussion more often will come from a place like it depends on the energetic frequency that you're having with the people that you're having the discussion with, like. And so oftentimes with couples, like that's what'll happen, right? It becomes like this total butting head things, and things like escalate to this point that it doesn't need to. And it's like, man, how can I have these discussions with like friends of mine or other people? And it's just so chill. But like that's the whole point behind like the twin flame aspect of things too, is like we've come here to help heal, help heal this human species. And the only way we can do that is by first starting from within ourselves. When we as individuals do our shadow work, when we fight the war within, then that ripple effect, the healing that we do for ourselves, it ripples out and it helps to heal like everything around us. And so thank you, each and every one of you, for every little thing that you do for yourself in your healing, in your own personal healing. Just trust that you're doing a good job, because it all in essence goes out to help all of us. And for you and the work that you do, I'm eternally grateful. Thank you, truckers. Thank you, Kid Rock. Thank you, each and every other one of you that's like, helping to take that motioning forward for peaceful non-compliance, for remembering that it is ultimately, in essence, all about freedom. And with freedom, you know, anyone with the freedom, we need to remember carrying the respect for each other. In my personal choice of not wanting to take the vaccine, I don't want to make anybody uncomfortable in any which way, and that's where communication comes into play. For the most part, I'm a very strong, healthy individual and I take care of myself. So why should I have to my temple be invaded by something foreign that hasn't been fully freaking tested and all this stuff that we don't know, because there's so many little things that are coming up that where it's been a very, very sheer detriment, just like the virus itself has been a detriment and caused death to people. There's been so many like stillbirths and stuff like that has happened with people who have taken the vaccine. So, I mean, there you have it. Like, that's a fact. So, where does it give any government body any right to put their people in jeopardy? Because there's always two sides. Okay? There's always two sides. And then there's the truth. And the truth is we all deserve the freedom and to choose, And here's another thing. If you're going to mandate anything, then you better be for it in the bill. Because straight up, nobody should be held back from something because you're going to decide it's going to cost this much and it's going to cost this much. Well, what is money in the first place? Like, oh, this country's in debt. Well, hit the fucking print button. But make sure you're planting the trees or whatever, materials you're using to create this illusionary money when really it's all boils down to energy. And that my friends, like, that's everything. It's the energy and it's the focal points and it's what we choose to do with it. So maybe I'll step in to our magician powers and co-create new earth to be absolutely magnificent, because we were meant to live with nature, not against her. And that's what new earth is all about. And so if we're going with her and in that ascension, we need to start flowing naturally and embracing the things that help keep things in a natural flow cycle of rejuvenation and, like, the cycles of birth, life, and death. That is like what earth is all about. All 4 seasons, everything like that. That's symbolic of life itself. So I'm gonna leave this at that, and I thank you for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, help me grow this channel. And yes, love, peace, light, all the good stuff, freedom. Thanks, guys. I'll see you again soon.